Tampa Bay.
Woo! For the people watching at home, you could probably imagine why I'm pretty excited right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So if y'all remember the bet, I'm putting the pressure on you. He said that he was gonna buy a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl shirt.
Oh, I didn't say
Yes, you did.
I said I'll buy a shirt.
You gotta buy a Super Bowl shirt, bro.
I was gonna go to like Old Navy and one of those $10 shirts.
No, we just changed the rules, yo. We just changed the rules, dog. And he's gotta wear it to one of our episodes too. You know I got on my gear. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Let's start with initial impressions. What's kind of, if you could describe the Super Bowl in one word, and only one word, what would that be for you?
One-sided intensity. Sorry, I know it's 2 words, but 3 words actually. it was one-sided intensity, right?
Remind me of Charles Barkley. I got 2 words for you. Must-see TV.
Wait.
It's not 2 words. It's never mind.
It's obviously it's hard to break down in one word, but
Why does it say the
I think-
49ers and the Chiefs? That was not the
That was
right
last
Super
year.
Bowl. What are y'all talking
anyway,
about?
yeah, try and load that back up. That's weird. Are you in the right one?
Yeah,
You're in the right one.
it's the Super Bowl 55.
I think one-sided intensity is how you put it. The offense for the every time I almost say Bucks, I almost say Patriots. Every time the Bucks had the ball, you could tell they were just on a different wave. Like they were all on the same wavelength. They were all running on the same fuel, right? On defense, everyone was doing their job. Their assignments were all on point. The pass rushing was obviously there, and we'll talk about exactly why and how that kind of shook out in the end. But on the opposite side of the ball in Kansas City, opposite side of the field, the only real people that I could say that had that intensity were Pat Mahomes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They had that intensity. You could see every time Clyde got the ball, he was fighting for every single yard. Patrick Mahomes, every time he got, like, you see those 29 or 32 pressures, depending on whatever the stat is, I'm not sure which, but he was running around fighting for it. He said, I'm not going down. You can try to catch me, and you probably will, but I'm going to fight for it every single time. That's why they only sacked him, 3 times? Three times? Out of the 29 to 32 times they pressured him.
I'm pretty sure it's 32. Pretty sure it's 32, regardless.
Whatever it was, to only be sacked that many times from all that, that tells you who Patrick Mahomes is, and that tells you the fight that he had. Stupid mistakes on the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, constantly, all game. You can complain about the refs all day, which I kind of agree, maybe they should have let him play a little bit. But there's things to be said about it, and again, we will get to all of it. But to sum it up in its parts, one team was on the field, looked like they really wanted it more. One of them thought they would just come to them, and it didn't.
I'd say the word for me was preparation.
Sure.
It just felt like the Kansas City Chiefs were not prepared. They just looked sloppy. They did not look prepared.
No.
And for me, this was probably the closest game I've ever seen a team perform at that was perfection.
Yeah.
I think on all fronts of the game, in every aspect of football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers were damn near perfect. They had 3 penalties for 15 yards the entirety of the game.
Right.
Offense and defense combined.
Sure.
Outside of that taunting penalty, that was 15 yards, who cares?
It was at a point in the game where it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. And Tyreek Hill deserved it. But
Alright, that's the rules are rules, but go ahead.
no, I'm not disagreeing with the call. The call
Okay.
was correct.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying that Tyreek Hill, you're gonna get that.
Yeah.
When you do it to everybody else, it's gonna come back around and get you. Perfection. That was damn near perfection.
Sure.
Devin White, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
12 tackles, 8 solo tackles, 1 interception.
He's the next big deal for sure.
He's a top 5 linebacker in the league next year.
Agreed.
Guaranteed.
Agreed.
Levante David, great job stopping the run.
Obvious veteran presence.
That pass rush was disgusting. They had Patrick Mahomes. We talked about this earlier, and I'm sure everybody's heard this at this point. They had that man running 500 total yards, avoiding pressure, all before being sacked.
Yep.
He ran up and down the football field 5 times with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers chasing him. that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane, and it's like we had talked about, what was interesting, I was talking to Billy, shout out to Billy. A lot of the stuff that we had talked about in terms of what the Buccaneers needed to do, they did just that.
Absolutely.
We talked about the Tampa 2, cover 2 all game long.
They did it the whole time.
Nothing deep.
Absolutely.
There was no question marks about it either.
No, and they did it right.
And they did it correctly. Listen, you are not getting anything deep. You're going to have to dink and dunk and earn it going down the field.
Yep.
Devin White said something. We think that offense is kind of gimmicky. And they might have shown something there in terms of that offense being gimmicky. It seemed as though they were not they were not going to commit to the run.
No.
Clearly.
Yeah, and that was probably one of their first mistakes.
And
which we've talked about with Kansas City.
Correct. And you look at how do you break a cover 2 defense? You have to get a linebacker or you have to get a safety to come into the box. How do you do that?
Yeah,
running the football. They didn't want to do it. So they were playing into their hand the whole game. I don't know what Andy Reid was thinking in terms of just being a pass-heavy offense. I know you're behind points that you have to, but at the same time, if what you've been doing up to this point is not working, you have to change something.
It was strange because they ran the ball more when they were down by 2 scores or more than they did before that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to say to a point like, all right, maybe you should establish the run a little bit earlier because at the point when we were running the ball, the defense was like, all right, run the ball then. Like, too little, too late, son. Like, what are you gonna do?
And on
We're
top
not
of
gonna
that,
let you get over top of us.
And you're not running on that Tampa Bay defense. I said it 1,000 times. Nobody runs on that defensive front 7.
When they handed it off, they ran it well, Kansas City. But that was because Tampa was so
too, right?
They were so committed to that pass game where they said, okay, fine, run the ball. But then Kansas City was like, no, it's okay, we don't want to. So maybe that's what I'm saying. Like if you establish the run earlier, even just even if you get stuffed for no gains or things like that. You set up play action, you lighten up the pass rush, which they didn't seem interested in doing.
Nope. And that was the thing, for Tampa to be able to send 4.
Yeah.
And
they didn't blitz.
And they blitzed 5 times the whole game, which is the lowest they have blitzed the entire season. Mm-hmm. For Tampa to be able to rush just 4 and be that effective, this is another key that I had talked about, that we had talked about.
Absolutely.
That right tackle and that left tackle not being there. And you saw it from the first play. They said, listen, you cannot block us. You can't block us. Do something about it, and you can't. I mean, if you're only sending 4, there's really nothing else you can do.
Right.
They had running backs chipping. They had tight ends staying in there. It just did not matter.
Yeah, so now let's dive into some of the finer points of the game. Let's hit on that pass rush first, right? And I think that pass rush set up the rest of the game. Pretty much.
100%.
If that pass rush is not getting there, it's a totally different ball game at the end of the day. That Tampa 2 defense you're talking about, it works unless quarterback has too much time, or if the safeties if the safeties feel a need to come up, which neither one of those things happened.
Nope.
The pass rush was getting there every single play, and when it wasn't, coverage was locked down. So good job on that.
Yep.
Or Travis Kelce was open in the middle of the field, which he got a few of those big plays in, but they were never able to punch it in.
Nope.
So good on that pass rush. We call those. It's kind of the opposite of coverage sack. It's pass rush coverage, where your pass rush is literally you could have anybody covering back there, and literally Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be able to do anything anyway.
Yep.
Because all the receivers are covered for just long enough. Because as soon as he's running for his life, great, let everyone go. Because now all of a sudden the ball's going to be in there a lot longer. You got guys on that side of the field who are going to make a difference. So if you could give out a Super Bowl MVP to 2 people, I would give it to Shaq Barrett and JPP. That's what I would have done. But because you can only give it to one, Tom Brady's orchestrating the offense. It's Tom Brady, obviously. Right. He made the plays he needed to make. Three touchdown passes. And led a bunch of really good drives.
21 for 29, 201 yards,
right.
3 touchdowns.
I think he should have had a rushing touchdown because I think they should have sent him on that sneak when they got stopped on the goal line. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, and that would have been crazy.
That would have been awesome.
But if you could give out, if it was, you know what, give the Super Bowl MVP to 2 people, Shaq Barrett and JPP. I think if without those 2 pass rushing the way they did in that game, it's a completely different ballgame.
I'll say this: I'll give one to Shaq Barrett. I'll give the other one to Devin White. Okay. Devin White, you have to have a trained eye to really see what he did. Sure. He was ridiculous that game. He was disgusting. Sideline to sideline coverage. He was a spy on Tyreek Hill plays. He was on Travis Kelce plays. The dude was he was ridiculous. And he's in his second year.
Yeah.
His second year.
Crazy
He's a top 5 linebacker.
Crazy talent.
And I think for me, let's turn it on to the offensive side. I think we should put these, discussions to bed in terms of, who's the best tight end to ever do it. If you're not putting Gronkowski in that conversation, you're a damn fool.
Well, he's obviously in the conversation. I don't think that's a doubt.
I would say he is that. Why? Because he can do everything better than a Travis Kelce, than an Antonio Gates, than a Tony Gonzalez. Why? Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, they were great end zone threats and they could catch the ball. They couldn't block it down. Travis Kelce, he can't block either. He's a pass catcher. Rob Gronkowski is not a liability blocking. He's a block first tight end. And he has sure hands. How do you retire, come back, and then be able to have an end zone presence like that in the biggest game of the season after having one catch up in the playoffs up until that point? That's ridiculous.
I think he is absolutely in that conversation of one of the best to ever do it. I don't think that's a doubt. I've had this conversation with my brother Mike a lot, and we talked about it before the season. Where let's not get twisted. Gronk did have a learning curve in the beginning of the season. Obviously, he was not in football shape to start out. Ended up being, I believe, when my brother Mike showed me in fantasy points, he was like number 7.
Right.
Which is great. Top 10 in tight ends. I mean,
and keep in mind, he has a stable of tight ends. He has O.J. Howard and Cameron Brady, which are 2 studs.
Sure. O.J. Howard's been out most of the year, but you're right. Cameron Braid's great. Really good tight end. But being top 10 after taking a year off, that's great. I wouldn't go overreaction Monday on the. He's absolutely because of this game, he's everything. He's been done it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not because of this game.
No.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
So, but also because of this game, I wouldn't take anything away from Travis Kelce. Wouldn't. I mean, people forget Tony, and now we're getting a completely different conversation, but whatever. Tony Gonzalez was one of the first to be a freak at the tight end position. He really opened up the tight end position to what we know it is.
Well, I'll say Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp was
really the first.
But he was a big blocking tight end piece too.
But he was really the first pass catching tight end that there ever was.
Correct. But to perfect it in such a way like Tony Gonzalez did, where it felt like, holy cow, this guy is just as good as any number 1.
Right.
Antonio Gates was freak speed. He should have played receiver, honestly.
Yeah.
But they decided to line him up on tight end. And Gronk is a big body dude who I think earlier in his career maybe wasn't such of a blocking presence that he is now and was towards the tail end of his run in New England because he was a younger guy. He wanted to go and he bullied everybody when he went up for those balls.
But you look where he was set up though. He was always set up on the line. He's always been a block first tight end. Ever since Arizona, he's always started off the line.
Right.
Always.
He's an off the line guy, right?
Yes, but he's a block first tight end now.
I don't know if he's block first. That's.
I'll say this.
I think
if you're running the football, you don't have Travis Kelce in the game. You don't have Antonio Gonzalez in the game.
That's fair because you trust him.
All right, not Antonio Gonzalez. You don't have Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates in the game. When you run the ball, you have Gronkowski in the game.
That's fair. No, I agree. He's a great blocker.
And that's why for me, I think he's the best because he does everything as a total better than any other tight end does altogether. Yeah, does Travis Kelce catch more balls? Absolutely, he does. Is he maybe a bigger threat in terms of catching the football? Yes, 100%. But he can't block like Gronk can. Yeah, and Gronk is still sure-handed. He can still find the ends. I'll say this. If Gronkowski was on the Kansas City Chiefs, he would not have dropped those balls Travis Kelce did. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Kelce had 2 big ones now. 2 big ones on 3rd down where they needed it.
Yep.
Needed it. He wouldn't have dropped those. He wouldn't.
I mean, you could say woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda all day. It's a tough one because
he wouldn't.
The way. But if you think when you think about the way the ball was coming out of Pat Mahomes' hand all game long, almost like, how the heck did he get the ball out?
Yeah.
Did you see the one where he was almost parallel to the field? And
it was ridiculous.
launched it, hit the dude right in the hands, hit him in the helmet. Like,
It didn't even hit his hands, it just hit him in the face.
right, exactly. Same thing with Tyreek. He rolled out to the left, threw it, end zone, boom. Nailed it right in the face. Third down, Travis Kelce on the side, boom, hit him right in the face. To move the conversation a little bit, do you think, give me a percentage-wise, how much do you think Pat Mahomes is to blame for a 31-9 loss?
10%.
I was thinking the same number.
10% tops.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid couldn't have done anything more. He can't throw it and catch it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, the kid is getting killed back there, and he's still putting the ball in places for people to make plays.
Yep.
The thing about it is that when you're getting killed like that, you need somebody to make a play to get them to stop pinning their ears back and coming for you. And they couldn't do it.
Nope.
Kelsey choked. I don't want to say choked. Kelsey made some big drops.
Yes. Sure.
I think people really undervalue the importance of those third down drops that he had.
Sure.
Those were pivotal moments in the game.
Sure.
Starting to build momentum, starting to work down the field. And they were all past the 50 when you drop those balls.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you need your playmakers to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
You can only be as good as the people around you. And for
Right.
Travis Kelce to not make plays, for Tyreek Hill to not make plays, and please don't be fooled by the stats. Yes, Travis Kelce had 10 receptions for 133 yards, and they still had 9 points. So how valuable was 133 yards on 15 targets?
Okay, so 2 of those are drops, 3 of them just flat out completion.
Mm-hmm.
Because and they're all in situations where Tampa's backing up.
There's a lot of empty
Right.
calories.
It's good.
A lot of empty calories.
Because at the end of the day, it only came down to 9 points, so it tells you really how empty it is.
Yep. So that was my thing. You know, I think if you're Patrick Mahomes, you obviously don't feel okay because you lost the game.
Sure.
But feel okay in the sense of, listen, I could not have done anything more.
The way I try to think of it is like, all right, people want to blame Patrick Mahomes. Don't give out participation trophies. Shut up. First of all, it's part of the discussion. So quiet. Second of all, give me a quarterback
Who could have done that?
who could have done better.
Correct.
Who could have done the same? Nobody could have done the same, and nobody could have done better.
The only person who's even close to Deshaun. Only
Correct, 'cause
I'm
he's used
talking
to it.
close.
Because he's used to it.
Correct.
Everyone else would have been about the same.
Oh yeah.
In NFL history, maybe Michael Vick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because he would have torched that defense for like 200 yards.
Probably.
Lamar Jackson, maybe. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Maybe
Nope.
he could have ran on it or something like that. But what I'm saying is Pat Mahomes is, in terms of passing, nobody could have done better.
Absolutely not.
And it was mystifying how every play, when the rush started to get there, I was like, well, this play ain't over yet. And sure enough, rolls left, and then rolls right, and then rolls left again. And he's like, come on, somebody get open. I need to throw the ball to somebody. And the second he sees somebody open, or the second he's about to get hit, especially in those desperation times, he just launched it, put it in a position for someone to make a play, and nobody ever did.
I'll say this though, the one thing I didn't like, if I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes in terms of being a fan of his, I didn't like exactly what you just said right there. There felt like there were some points where it was just a desperation heave, which is dangerous.
Sure.
And obviously, you're at a point in time in the game where you kind of have to start to do things like that.
Exactly.
However, ball security, especially in the Super Bowl, is very, 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 very important.
Yes, but when I see some of those throws, some of them were. They were. The Patriots were up 31. They didn't. I don't think they put up any points in the fourth quarter, did they?
No.
No. A lot of these were in the fourth quarter. It's third down and long. He just wants to make a play. I have no problem. Even with the pick he threw, I have no problem.
No, I don't either.
I have no problem with the pick he threw. I have no problem with some of the throws he made. And when you say ball security, I'm like, yes. But if it was in the first quarter he's making the throws, sure, I agree. If it's in the second, or maybe even like the beginning of that third quarter, I'm like, all right, yeah, maybe you don't want to put it all out there yet. But then after that second half of the third quarter, where it was very clear that they needed magic to happen to win that game,
Right.
go all out, son. And at that point, I'm thinking of Andy Reid. They did sometimes keep people in the block, and when they did, it was successful. But the second they stopped, I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, change your offensive line. You have a 6-man offensive line now. Put somebody else in. Like, you needed to double team those outsides and then block the inside. Do something else. I was not a fan of the way they coached that game when they started to realize that a 4-man pass rush is wrecking your 5-man offensive line.
And that was going to be my next point. You know, if you're Patrick Mahomes, I think you need to be upset at the coaching staff for that game, because to me it felt almost as if he just got kind of thrown to the wolves out there.
Very much so.
You know, shit started to happen, and it almost just felt like Andy Reid said, "Hey, just try to save me" or something. You know, there was no adjustments, like you had said. There was no changes offensively to try to combat the strengths of the defense. Run the football.
Yep.
Get an extra blocker in there. Maybe keep them honest. When you throw the ball 49 times, that's crazy too. He got pressured on 32 pass attempts on 49 total. So on 17 pass attempts, he had a clean pocket.
That's a lot.
That is crazy.
I wouldn't even call it clean.
Oh,
it was
my
like
goodness.
Right. So we've talked enough about the losing team.
Wow, that's insane.
Let's get to that winning team.
Yeah, I'm so excited, bro.
One of my first stats that popped out to me was on 4 touchdowns.
I love this. I know where you're going.
Not a single person who was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year was a part of any of those scores. Tom Brady to Gronk, Tom Brady to Gronk, Tom Brady to AB,
Leonard Fournette, and then stuck up on the field goals.
Stuck up on the field goals.
All were free agents.
This tells you a lot, and this should be important because people will say, "Oh, well, Tom Brady has a superstar team. He doesn't deserve any of the credit for this." Why do you think all those people are there? Gronk's not there if Brady's not there.
Yep.
AB's not there if Brady's not there.
Fournette's not there without
Fournette's not there without Brady being there. Suck up, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's a good kicker. He's had an illustrious career around the NFL. That's why he has a job. You don't keep jobs as a kicker in the NFL if you ain't good at it.
Correct.
So, and he had a fantastic year as well.
Yes, he did.
Tom Brady makes not only everyone around him better, but he makes everyone in the league want to play with him.
Yes.
You're going to see crazy amounts of talent because they're going to lose some young guys in Tampa. I don't think they're going to keep Shaq Barrett. I don't think they're going to keep some of these younger guys who are going to want bigger contracts because I think they're smarter than that. They know where the money should go, and they know what they need to lock up. Shaq Barrett, this is probably the prime of his career. This season-ish, maybe another year or two. How much are we willing to pay him to keep him around for 5 years? Because he's going to want a big deal.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
So, in terms of free agents, right? Notable free agents for the Buccaneers. Levante David, who might have played his way out of Tampa.
Sure.
Ndamukong Suh's a free agent. Shaq Barrett's a free agent. Leonard Fournette's a free agent. Antonio Brown's a free agent. Gronkowski's a free agent.
They'll keep Gronk.
So here's what's going to happen. They're going to re-sign AB because nobody wants him.
That's fair.
Great, we love it. They're going to get Gronkowski.
Absolutely.
Chris Godwin's a free agent. They're going to lose Godwin.
I think they'll let him go.
They're going to lose Godwin, but what they're going to do now, Tom Brady's going to restructure.
Absolutely.
Give them more money, and they're going to keep Shaq Barrett.
You think so?
They need him.
Okay.
They need Shaq Barrett. He's integral to that defense.
So when you list a bunch of those players, right, I hear a lot of veteran presence.
And I think Leonard Fournette's going to stay too. I think he's going to take a pay cut.
We'll see. I don't know because he might like Ronald Jones. He might want to help him out and guide him.
Right.
People find fulfillment in weird ways, in different ways.
Yeah.
So to him, that might be guiding a young back to kind of be something great. Which that's a whole different conversation. I think that's great. But I think, at the end of the day, if all these people want to take pay cuts and they want to play and keep winning Super Bowls together, God bless them.
Hey.
But a lot of those guys have showed that they are worth more than they're getting paid right now. Because Shaq Barrett was a Bronco.
That was so dumb for y'all to let him
So
go.
stupid.
Y'all are so stupid.
As soon as we let him go, I was like, come on, he's so good.
So good.
So good.
He's ridiculous.
He's so good. Will you be able to keep him? It depends on his asking price. And that's what a lot of it depends on. Will you keep Ndamukong Suh? I don't think so. You got Vita Vea.
He'll be cheap. He's going to be cheap. They'll
Okay.
keep him. Here's what I think is good. I think a lot of those players are going to want to run it back. Which they should. Because
I would want that too.
Because I'll make a bold proclamation, and this is not based off of the high of winning Super Bowl. I'm actually thinking about it logistically.
Sure.
If Tampa Bay can keep a majority of their core, which a lot of them are already signed, all the back end is signed. Devin White is signed. JPP is signed. Vita Vea is signed.
How long they got JPP for?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because he is a vet, so usually they keep those on short contracts.
1 or 2 years left on that. Tom Brady's there.
Obviously.
Rojo is there. Mike Evans is there.
Gronk
Scotty Miller's there. Cameron Brate's there. OJ Howard's there. Gronk's coming back. AV's coming back. That whole offensive line is locked down. If they can get 4 or 5 of those notables, particularly Shaq Barrett, if he decides that he wants to stay, they're going to repeat. That team is.
I would not be surprised because
that team is disgusting. And bro, the last 4 games, you got to see them show who they can be.
Sure.
Now imagine with the off season, with preparation, not 12 practices before your first game. Oh my God!
It's gonna be fun to watch,
dude.
It's gonna be real.
That's
fun
gonna
to
be
watch.
crazy. But a lot of it, I think, hangs on what the free agents decide to do.
Sure. What do they
I think if Leonard Fournette wants to win, he stays. If Shaq Barrett wants to win, he's gonna get paid. But he's not going to get paid this monstrosity of a contract.
He will be able to get bigger contracts other places
100%.
if he wants it.
Right. Listen, he's a top 5 outside linebacker,
Absolutely.
no question. So if he wants to get paid, he can do that. But he's going to go to a losing franchise. You're never going to sniff a Super Bowl ever again.
I don't know about ever again.
Guarantee. I guarantee he will not see a Super Bowl again.
Depends on where he goes.
He's not going anywhere that's good.
How do you know?
Because the
Buffalo needs an outside linebacker.
they don't have the money. Bro, the salary cap got cut by like a quarter this offseason.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we'll see.
So now
that's a big proclamation.
So I'm telling you. So now that $15 million that he would have got paid now equates to almost $30 million because the salary cap is smaller.
Yeah.
So a dollar bill is a lot more important now with all these quarterbacks on the move. Bro, I'm telling you, he's not going. If he wants more money, he's not going anywhere good. Which hey.
Some people gotta make their money for it.
Correct. And I have no ill will towards
Might
that.
be happy he got his ring. I want to go make some money.
Correct.
And, make some plays.
Go get paid.
Somewhere and get paid.
Go get paid. But listen, if the Bucs look good next year, the Bucs look pretty darn good.
So with that, Brady now has 5 Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah.
7 Super Bowl victories out of 10 appearances.
When are they just gonna rename the MVP trophy? The Super Bowl MVP after Tom Brady. The Tom Brady Super Bowl MVP award goes to Tom Brady.
I think for that exact reason they're gonna wait till he retires.
That will happen, by the way.
Probably.
That
I
will
wouldn't
happen.
be surprised. They should probably retire the number 12 in the league.
Honestly.
At least in New England and Tampa.
They better in New England.
It's just, why would anyone else want to wear the number 12?
Correct.
Why would you even want to? You're never going to be considered the best number 12 ever. No one's ever going to look at you that way.
Yeah, Tom Brady's backup or Tom Brady's, replica. That's all they're going to think,
So, what does this help? Does this Super Bowl even do anything for Tom Brady's legacy, or
Absolutely.
is it already at the pinnacle? And it's just like, all right, well,
No, it absolutely helped. I'll tell you why. I was thinking about this a lot. So you got to think, right? This guy, he's a system quarterback, right? Was it Bill Belichick or was it Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's still another discussion to be had.
Sure.
This guy, in the first time in his career to actually make a decision on where to go to, he picks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have the worst winning percentage in all of major sports history. Takes these guys to the Super Bowl in his first year. Again, a COVID year. 12 practices before their first game. Started 7-2, went 7-5, and then won their last 8 games. They went through Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. 2 of those on the road.
That's so crazy. They still got to go to be a home
Ridiculous. The road, all away games.
Yep.
This is the 8th wild card team to win the Super Bowl. First one since the Giants. No, I think so.
Yep.
Giants in 2011.
Ravens in 2012.
There you go. Ravens in 2012. Okay. This guy came in here and made every single person better. Elevated everybody in that locker room, everybody believed we can do this, right? And you look at how people talk. Oh, Tom Brady, you know, he's such a leader in the locker room, right? You look at the owner. When they won the award, when they won the Super Bowl, he said, I just want to thank Tom Brady for teaching us how to win. That's a big ass deal. Mm-hmm. To be 43 years old, first year on a new team, broke every freaking record on the face of the planet. Mm-hmm. It's just seven Super Bowl rings. In my opinion, longevity, consistency of success, what he did to the New England franchise and what he just did to Tampa, mm-hmm. how he's been a consummate leader and professional on and off the mm-hmm. field. You've never heard a negative thing about this guy in the 21 years he's been here.
Yep.
I think, me personally, degree of difficulty, how many Super Bowls he has, how many MVPs he has, and just his level of success, I think he is the most accomplished and best overall athlete in all of sports history with this one.
It's a good argument to be made.
That's my opinion.
There's a good argument to be made. Absolutely.
And I think you can just go degree of difficulty, number one.
Sure.
Everybody says Michael Jordan, which is a great comparison.
Sure.
Michael Jordan had 7 attempts to win a 4-game series. Tom Brady has 1 shot. All throughout the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You make one mistake, that 1 shot is gone. Mm-hmm. He has a 70% win percentage in the Super Bowl. He's been there 10 times. Almost half the seasons that he's been a professional, he's been to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So that pretty much means flip a coin. If it lands on heads, you're going to the Super Bowl. What?
Crazy.
How does that uplift an organization? You know, hey, this guy has almost a 50% chance of getting us to the Super Bowl because he's in this locker room. Mm-hmm. That has never happened, and I don't think it ever will happen again.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand how ridiculous that is to actually say.
Absolutely.
Bro. Now, what do you think?
This one?
I personally think that this is probably his greatest accomplishment.
Just about to say that.
As a professional in terms of Super Bowl.
I was just about to say that. Before Brady was in New England, absolutely irrelevant franchise. In every single level. Absolutely irrelevant. I believe they made it to 1 Super Bowl and lost.
Yep.
Tampa Bay has not been relevant for just about 20 years.
Correct.
And since their inception, has only been relevant for a single year.
Yep.
He gets there, Super Bowl. I kind of want Brady to go somewhere else because I need to see if he could do it again. Just because I need to see, I want to see, all right, first time, all right, cool. You lifted a whole franchise up. That's cool. You went there for 1 year, went to another franchise and won a Super Bowl? All right, send him to Jacksonville, see what he can do. And then just watch the flood of talent want to play in Jacksonville. Nobody wants to play in Jacksonville. No one likes the ownership. No one likes the GMs. No one likes the city. The city sucks. I've been there. It's freaking boring.
Yeah,
it stinks.
Yeah, it's rough there.
It's only a city because there's some tall buildings. That's it.
Correct. Correct.
But if Brady went there, it'd be like, oh, let's all go to Jacksonville. That's just appreciate it, people. Because you ain't never seen anything like this again. Not in team sports.
And that's...
Singular sports, sure. Serena Williams won 23 Grand Slam titles in a row. Well, it was savage.
Ridiculous.
But in team sports, you'll never see anything like it ever again.
And see, that's my whole point, right? That you just proved why I believe the argument is done. Because football is the epitome of team sports.
There's 11 guys on the field at the same time.
And the only way that you can compare somebody to Tom Brady is an individual.
Right.
Let that sink in for a second.
Yep.
That's the only way you can make an adequate, comparison between Tom Brady and another athlete.
Because Tom Brady has to rally an entire team.
Correct.
He has to get 52 other guys, a whole coaching staff, on board with him. And they all jump at the bit the second he says, let's do something. Nobody's done it in baseball. Nobody. Babe Ruth, arguable. Nobody's done it in soccer. Messi can't win a World Cup.
Nope.
Nobody's done it in basketball. other than Michael Jordan.
Correct.
And maybe LeBron James if you want to throw that comparison in there.
And let me just add in real quick. It's tricky with the whole basketball argument just because
The
they
way-
have so much more control.
The-
5-on-5, you can have a massive impact.
And that's my point. How many guys are on a roster in a basketball team? 12. How many coaches? 3, 2?
3 or 4, yeah, tops.
Right. That's it. Michael Jordan can play defense and offense. Brady, he's only got an offense. And he's been able to do it consistently. He went to a franchise that was, again, irrelevant and made it relevant. Everyone knows. Tampa Bay used to be that team where you're rattling, like someone says, name all the teams in the NFL. You're like, all right, I got this team, got this team. What? I got 30 teams. I'm missing 2. Oh yeah, it's the Jaguars. And what's that other one again?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Bucks. Oh, it's so weird. I forgot the Bucks were a team. Now all of a sudden Brady gets there. No one's gonna forget the Tampa Bay Bucks ever again.
Yep.
I heard somebody say it over the weekend. Tom Brady's the only player that'll have 2 statues built outside of 2 different stadiums.
Yes.
Because Tampa Bay will do it. Because he'll get if not close, he will get to another Super Bowl next year.
And he might.
That NFC looks suspect.
Listen, don't let this guy get 8 Super Bowl rings. Don't listen. Do not let him get 8 Super Bowl rings.
You could split four on each finger.
Bro, if he gets 8 Super Bowl rings, I'm going to his store and I'm buying every piece of gear that he's ever created. It's literally what he has done defies the laws of football.
Yeah.
What he's been able to accomplish literally should be impossible. Mm-hmm. The amount of turnover that's in the NFL, you never have the same team twice.
No, never.
For him to be relevant for literally every single year he's been in the league, it's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I could literally rattle off stats and just mind-blowing things for an hour. Mm-hmm. And he's not done.
No.
We're talking like he's finished. He's not done.
He's still playing.
It's ridiculous, dude.
So if you look at...
It's just so dumb to me. I don't understand how people can sit here and try to delegitimize what he's done.
So let's take a look at
the
NFC and the AFC with the Chiefs. Let's look at their roads next year, right? Because we usually like to talk about where this team is now.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Bucks, the NFC. Your biggest craziness is probably at the LA Rams right now.
Yep.
Green Bay is obviously going to be a problem.
Yep.
Seattle might be a problem at some point if they can fix that O-line.
We'll see.
We'll talk about that.
See.
We'll talk about that on Thursday. Arizona, if they can get that offense finally moving the way they want it to. But I'm just
spitballing.
Right, exactly. But other than that, there is not that much to compete with this Tampa Bay team.
No.
Even if they lose a few key pieces, even if they lose Shaq Barrett, even if they lose like a Levante David or something like that, they have so much young talent on that team that they have just enough to make some stuff happen, and that offense is going to be damn near the same, if not close, if not better, because it'll be more focused.
And you got to think Antonio Brown's going to have a massive role now, which is good. He needs that.
When we looked at the Tampa Bay offense at the beginning of the season, what even me, you, and Billy all said, it just looks like they're just trying to play backyard football.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't working out. They've identified themselves now. They know what they want to do now, and they only have half a season of film on them.
Yeah. Correct. And that's the thing. They really only caught their stride in the last 8 games.
They are, I would almost say very clearly, the favorites in the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl
Agreed.
next year. I saw an ESPN power ranking. They put them at 4th. It was like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. They put like Green Bay and LA ahead of them. I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Okay.
It'll be interesting. Let's hop over. Do you have anything to say on that front?
Mm-mm.
All right, so let's hop over to the AFC. Kansas City. Very similar in that there's not a lot of pieces on that team that's going to change.
Correct.
Right? They'll only get better because obviously they'll get better through the draft. They'll get better through some free agency and things along those lines. So they will get better. The more a team stays together, the better they will become. But let's take a look at some of those heavy hitters in that AFC. Mm-hmm. Buffalo.
Yep.
They're only going to get better. They've only gotten better every year.
The Ravens.
If they can shore up some of that defense, Buffalo's going to be a problem.
Yep.
Baltimore. It's going to be a problem continuing going forward.
The Colts.
The Colts, if they get whoever they decide to get a quarterback, Whether it be
Tennessee.
Carson Wentz, right? Tennessee.
Miami's coming up.
Miami's coming up. That AFC is not the NFC.
That AFC is getting really good.
Don't be surprised if this is a Super Bowl rematch in LA next year. But the Chargers, speaking of LA, up and
Getting
coming,
better.
getting
Yep.
better. Kansas City's got a tough road ahead of them.
Yes, they do.
They need to shake off that feeling of we're all that, because it did kind of feel like that when
It
they were
did.
walking into the Super Bowl. Need to shore up the offensive line because great, you have good offensive line, but all of a sudden one tackle gets hurt. Oh no, the other tackle gets hurt. You need some depth there.
Yep.
Draft a young guy, make something happen there, groom them, and then have people who are actually competent at blocking,
Correct.
at backup.
Yes.
But I think Kansas City's also the favorite in the AFC going into next year. But it's a little that gap's a little closer. If you put Tampa, the next team's probably about here.
I'm listening.
Kansas City, it's about here and like here.
Correct.
It's a little bit closer.
And and now you gotta start to ask a question. Did the Buccaneers just reveal the blueprint to beat them? Because you think about it, this is the only team in Patrick Mahomes' career that's been able to make him look average.
Yeah.
And he still looks superhuman, but this was the only time I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes look like an average quarterback.
So the only reason I'll say no is because what the Bucs did would have beat any quarterback.
Correct.
So, which is pass rush from both sides.
With 4, not 5, not blitzers, with only
correct.
4.
With a 4-man rush, standard rush, getting to the quarterback in 2 seconds or less.
It's ridiculous.
That's a formula to beat any quarterback. So I think that's what's kind of good about this for Kansas City is it doesn't really reveal much. We knew this, right? This is nothing new to us. We just were the people who picked Kansas City didn't think that either the Bucs would be able to do it or that it would make much of an impact.
Right.
Damn wrong. But no, I don't think it reveals too much. I think it just shows Patrick Mahomes is human. He's not a superhero in the NFL right now. Again, he's going into his 4th year.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of football ahead of him.
Absolutely.
So he's only going to get better. Look at Tom Brady at 43. If Patrick Mahomes can even play till he's 35, he's gonna have a crazy good career with multiple Super Bowl championships, I believe, and multiple MVP awards. So,
Agreed.
Kansas City. The only thing Kansas City needs to be concerned about is, and we'll wrap this up soon. Kansas City needs to be more consistent with running the football.
Correct.
They need to establish a running game. I know you have Patrick Mahomes. I know you have Tyreek Hill. I know you have Travis Kelce. But you also have a really good, young, stud running back.
Yeah.
Run the football.
And a Le'Veon Bell who's damn good.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
I think the big thing for the Kansas City Chiefs, they have no line of scrimmage presence. They lost that line of scrimmage battle from start to finish on Sunday. It wasn't even close. From the first play, it was done in that aspect. On both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got bullied. And by the way, did I not tell you that Tyrann Mathieu was going to get picked on that whole game?
You did get picked on.
Did I not tell
Both
you that was going to
emotionally
happen?
and physically.
I told you that was going to happen. Because he's a hothead. Bro, why would you poke Tom Brady like that? You just don't. That's like in the Bible. You just don't do that. Don't wake
It's the
that kid
11th
up.
commandment.
Dead ass. Just don't wake him up like that. Like, it's just, you just don't do that.
Yep.
And he did, and they paid the price.
Yeah, they need to shore up that defense a little bit and get some depth on the O-line, but other than that, this will be a very similar team next year.
I'm already looking forward to next year.
Very excited.
I'm sad that football is over.
Oof, we got like, what,
Very sad.
30-something weeks until football's back again?
Yeah, it's a long time.
We got free agency, we got the draft, we got a lot to talk about too.
But alright, y'all, we're gonna wrap this up. And we're gonna give you guys a sneak peek. I think what we're gonna do for kind of the rest of the season is we're just gonna sort of address small topics. And make the videos kind of short, kind of sweet. Obviously, we'll brainstorm, we'll talk about things bigger throughout the season as they
draft, free agency,
Correct.
big news stories.
Correct. But we will see you guys on Thursday. We have a little special episode for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to watch and see. But until next time, guys, we will see you all on Thursday. Later.